like whatever they wanted on those 2 plays. So I don't know. It's the Bills defense lost in that game, obviously, and Gabe Davis with probably the best wide receiver performance in postseason history, honestly.
So good.
You wouldn't expect that. You would expect Diggs to have had that game.
And they totally took away Diggs. I mean, he had one catch for 7 yards, and Gabriel Davis came out and had 206 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, that was just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
I was gonna say I agree with Shane. It's really frustrating. I was talking to my dad during the game, and I was like, "The game's not over. It's 13 seconds. Mahomes is probably gonna score." And then I saw that Tyreek Hill dump off, and it's just so frustrating to watch. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you let him get 25 yards and then Kelsey right back?
Yeah.
Like, just not good defense. They really sold.
Yeah, you gotta feel sad for Josh Allen. I mean, he put his heart and soul into that game, and he came out with an L, which is pretty insane with the game he had. He almost had a perfect QB game. I mean, he did everything he could have, but somehow the Bills defense let it go for them, and Mahomes matched him. So I mean, the future is bright. We're gonna see a lot of that in the future, hopefully. But both QBs led their teams in rushing and passing, which is pretty insane. And it was just a back and forth, like classic playoff football game, and that's just what you want to see in the final game of that kind of weekend to cap it off. I mean, just insane. But what do you guys think about? So after the Bills scored that touchdown with 13 seconds left, they elected to kick the ball off into the end zone for a touchback instead of a squib kick.
I also
I,
thought
I kind of think that's the wrong idea. I think they
I
should have
don't
said that. I don't
I
know.
don't think a squib kick was what you could do, what should have done. I mean, because that could easily get returned to like the 40. I think just kicking it to where the
They have
ball
to.
has to be caught at like the 5 or something, where they just have to play it, like would be the move there. Because I mean, that's huge that the no time ran off that clock on that kickoff. So
I think we should move important part of the game, the coin toss and the controversy about it. And I'll just
I
start
mean,
us off.
it is football. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
that's
The
what I was
Bills
gonna say.
defense, both defenses were terrible in that game, to be totally honest. I mean, you can't be letting up a touchdown in 13 seconds like that. They left the entire middle of the field open when the Chiefs had 3 timeouts. I mean, great offense by the Chiefs, but also terrible defense. I mean, it's not just an offensive game. I mean, I do agree that maybe the college overtime rules are better. I mean, in that kind of a game, you really want to see both QBs get a chance to win the game, especially when Josh Allen's playing like that. But I mean, it's still an amazing game, and the Chiefs deserve the W also. So
I feel like the rule everyone's over exaggerating on. Like, I agree, maybe it would be more entertaining to see both teams get the ball, but no one complained in the past about, like, obviously it's been controversial for a while, but no one was arguing when the Chiefs, like Tom Brady knocked out the Chiefs in overtime when they never got the ball. Like, it's just part of football. And if your defense doesn't get a stop with 13 seconds to go, that's on you. Like, you can't blame the coin toss. That's on your team.
I saw a real interesting like proposed rule change. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. I forget who brought it up. But basically, the home team would pick a field goal distance at the start of overtime, and then the away team would elect to either kick from that distance or have the other team kick from that distance. So let's say the Chiefs came out, they were the home team. They said 55 yards, and the Bills said, "Oh, like we want you to kick that." And then Butker hit that field goal, then the Chiefs, would get to choose who has the ball. So it's like instead of a coin toss, it's like actually like
that would take way too much. I don't know about that.
No one's
that
going to
would
watch
take,
that, bro. That's
I
so
think that would have the entertainment factor, but
No.
I just don't think that would work,
that would not
to be
take time.
honest.
All you do is say like 50 yards, and then you have a kicker.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to watch more kicking, bro. I want to watch them play football.
That'd be so much more controversial, Shane. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
don't think it would.
The whole game relies on Harrison Butker making a field goal now.
Yeah, that's earning the ball instead of just
No,
like
earning the ball is getting a stop on
Yeah,
defense.
in that kind of a game, I'm wanting to see the quarterbacks do it. I don't want to see the kicker
all right, let's
making
have
a
let's
field
have a
goal
throw.
side.
Let's see who could throw.
Let's have a throw off in the middle of the game. It's just like the All-Star
But talking about Butker though, I mean, this man was like cold. He was not kicking well going into that last kick. So when I was watching that kick, I was like, I mean, he's not been kicking good all game. He might miss this, but he came out, nailed it. I mean, just watching these games, I mean, I don't remember the last time I've seen a game where kickers missed a last second field goal. It just like doesn't happen.
I was gonna say, like, this weekend we need to give a shout out to the kickers because
no, for real.
McPherson, obviously insane.
Yeah,
came out with confidence at a 50-yarder. We saw Robbie Gould never missed a postseason field goal, still keeping that streak alive.
In the cold.
Then also Matt Gay, he missed one, and then he made that last one,
hitting the game winner, and then Butker putting his misses beside him, and then hitting that 49-yarder. So kickers showed out this weekend.
I mean, honestly, like the one field goal that comes to mind when I think of last second missed field goals in the playoffs is that Blair Walsh like 27-yard field goal.
No, and
the Cody Parkey
and the double doink Yeah, that is true. I mean, but Arrowhead came out, insane atmosphere as always. It's just a really fun game to watch.
I'm so excited for the future because we're gonna see this matchup a lot. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Could be the next Manning Brady. I don't know about that, but
could be.
We'll see. But let's get into next game we'll talk about. Let's just say in the AFC. We'll go AFC, then NFC. That Bengals-Titans game to start off the weekend. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here. It was a pretty lackluster game. I mean, I honestly didn't really enjoy watching it until the end when it got interesting. There's just so many field goals. I mean, both teams just did not play well. Like, give the Bengals credit for winning the game, but they just did not play well in that game. I mean, they came out with the win. They squeaked it out, but they didn't show me anything impressive. Joe Burrow, he threw for, 390, which is really impressive. He didn't throw a touchdown. He threw an interception. Both QBs threw an interception. But
Tannehill threw a little more than one.
I think, yeah. But in my opinion, the Titans lost this game. The Bengals did not win it. What do you guys think?
I would disagree. I understand what you're saying because the Bengals allowed Joe Burrow to get sacked 9 times, which is just like unacceptable. But I don't think in the NFL playoffs, especially, I don't think you can just say that a team lost it because you still need to play well enough to win a playoff game against the 1 seed, right? So the fact that they were able to still on defense stop Derrick Henry, props to their D-line and their front 7 for that. And then turn the ball over with Tannehill. That was huge. But I would agree to an extent that Ryan Tannehill kind of lost the Titans that game. But I would also say the Bengals defense won it. So I wouldn't completely say it was just the Titans losing it. Like
Titans O-line. Like, as much as we talk about like the Burrow 9 sacks, which is ridiculous in a playoff game, but Titans O-line could not block to save their lives. Derrick Henry was getting beat up in the backfield, which is a shame to see. I wanted to see him do more. But honestly, not impressed by either team. I think whoever even won the game would just get absolutely destroyed by the Chiefs. And that's like just how I'm feeling. I can't say I'm impressed by either team. So it was just the worst game.
I think if the Titans had won that, it would have been a really good Chiefs-Titans. Because we saw
it would have been in Tennessee, so that would have made it.
We saw the Chiefs Titans play in the regular season, and the Titans blew out the Chiefs. So I think it would have been a fun game to watch.
Regular season games mean nothing to me.
Hey, before we go on, I just want to mention, what were you guys thinking? You guys said last week that the Titans were going to absolutely demolish the Bengals. This was going to be a terrible game. I mean, you cannot bet.
It was a terrible game.
You can't bet against Joey B.
Yes, I can, and I will. And I will continue to bet against Joey B, who threw 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, here's the thing. Me and Alex, I stand by that the Titans were a better team. You can't win a game when on your first pass attempt of the game, your first pass attempt of the second half, and your last pass attempt of the game are all interceptions. Ryan Tannehill threw that game away with his turnovers. I mean, that's something that's really tough to predict. Like, if he just controls that football, like, the Titans played like shit, and they still were in a position to win that game completely. So,
facts. I stand by it. I don't regret any of my decisions. You two are the ones that should regret your decisions by picking the Packers. So,
I mean, obviously the Bengals defense played really good in that game, but we have to remember that Derrick Henry did come into that game with a metal plate in his foot. So I mean, he wasn't exactly the same version of himself that he was before his injury, as much of a tank as he was, because he could go against any defense and put up numbers. But yeah, Tannehill, he just absolutely threw that game away. That late game pick was absolutely horrendous. I mean, you just can't do that in that situation. He gave the Bengals a chance to make that 52-yard Evan McPherson field goal to win it. I mean, Money McPherson, he was having a game. I mean, he's cold with it. I mean, that whole team is just so enjoyable to watch. I mean, like supposedly McPherson, when they got that field position, he went up to Burrow and said, "It looks like we're going to the AFC Championship game." And I just love that. I love that confidence. He knows he's making it, and then he drained it for the win. But I don't know if Tannehill is the answer in Tennessee. What do you guys think?
He's not.
Not.
I mean, I think Tennessee can win with him as long as he just like hands the ball off 40 times a game.
As long as he's Jimmy G, is what like they should be the same guy basically. Like
He's just average. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'd say
at some points.
Tannehill at sometimes it like plays above average. Like at last season and the year before, I think he was definitely considered an above average quarterback. But like who would you guys rather have, Kirk Cousins or Ryan Tannehill?
Kirk Cousins.
I'd say Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. I think that's a little recency bias, Alex. I'm not gonna lie. I would much rather.
I don't care if it's recency bias. I just saw Tannehill play like absolute dog water. Like generally, it was so bad. I can't look at him the same. He was garbage.
I mean, he did lead his team to the number 1 seed.
Yeah, but I don't care. So, like I said, regular season means nothing to me.
Would you guys rather have? Actually, no, it's a bad comparison. I was gonna say Carson Wentz or Ryan Tannehill, but I'm pretty sure
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I don't know.
You would take Wentz?
Really? I don't know about that, man.
I
Come on, bro.
No, I'm definitely not taking Wentz. He's a bum. He's fragile too.
I feel like all those quarterbacks kind of fit into the same category, though.
They're all the exact same white quarterbacks. This is very, very poetic.
They all can't carry an offense, but like with the right like running game, they can.
No, but Wentz can't even do that. Wentz had the right running game and he couldn't do it. That's the thing. So, yeah.
But people that I mean, a guy that people aren't talking about enough from that Bengals Titans game is DJ Reader. I mean, that guy had a game on defense. I mean, he wasn't really doing much like before this game, but he had an instant impact on the defense, shutting down Derrick Henry, and just I think he had also a pick. Not exactly sure, but I just remember him being a big factor in that game against the Titans. Man, that's just crazy that the Bengals let up 9 sacks and they won the game.
That's why they're gonna get.
You just don't see that.
How? I don't understand. Okay, so I was talking to Joey about this before the pod, and people were saying that like the Bengals have a chance. I don't see how they could have a chance against the Chiefs. I just don't see it. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're just not a better team.
And also, I mean, about the O-line and the 9 sacks, I mean, hey, is that not what they sacrificed for Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
Getting Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. I mean, I remember thinking that was a dumb move. But, I mean, obviously, they're in a pretty good position with Jamar Chase as their wide receiver 1 going into the AFC Championship game. So, not too many problems with that. They can fix that in the offseason for sure. And then I got a hot take for you guys.
No.
A little AFC North hot take. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the AFC North over Lamar Jackson.
He's not, though.
He is.
He's just not.
Lamar's been getting way too much hate recently.
He's not better than Lamar. Can we stop this? You just said I was recency biased. That is the most recency bias I've ever heard. Lamar Jackson is a top 7 quarterback in the NFL.
He's going to be next year, though, too. He's going to be next year.
I'm not going to lie. I saw a TikTok the other day, and obviously, like, I don't agree with this, and most people were disagreeing. I saw some dude like say Kirk Cousins was better than Lamar Jackson.
Oh,
and
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I know. No,
Lamar Jackson is still a top 10 quarterback. But
Burrow is not better than Herbert, and Lamar is better than Herbert.
No, he's not. No,
yes, he is.
No.
Lamar is better than both of those guys.
I'd say Herbert's better than Lamar.
I wouldn't.
I don't know. Actually, that is close. I think that's a very close comparison.
And Herbert is better than Burrow.
Lamar, you can't like take this season and just judge Lamar for it because he was
Yeah,
banged up.
he was
whole
Mahomes
team
and
was
Allen in
banged
the
up.
league.
His whole team was banged up. Like their running game was way depleted, and that's like a huge part of his game to have that like option. So
They were bad, and I swear, like literally with Lamar playing, they were like 8-3 at one point. And then
yeah, people also forget that 2 years ago Lamar was the youngest MVP, unanimous MVP.
Oh yeah, I'm
led
just saying from
he won it against Brady, against Mahomes, against Rodgers, against Allen. All of these quarterbacks, he beat them out to win MVP. And you're comparing him to Joe Burrow. Ridiculous.
I wouldn't say the Joe
Hey,
Burrow.
did Lamar ever lead his team to an AFC Championship game?
Oh, Lamar. Okay. No, hold up. No. Reel it back real quick. Bengals have beat two awful teams to get to this AFC Championship. Raiders are not good.
The Titans are not.
Raiders are not good.
Come on, bro.
Titans played. No. Titans are a good team, but they played awful. That O-line was doing nothing. They're going to get smacked by Kansas City, and then we can talk about how Joe Burrow is overrated as hell because he's not better than Lamar.
I agree with Alex that you can't use that AFC Championship thing.
That is such a bogus argument.
Like,
Lamar played better teams.
Do you remember when Lamar played the Titans?
Yeah,
if you put Joe Burrow in that game back when Lamar played the Titans, I mean that's a blowout Titans win because that's when Derrick Henry was feasting for like fucking 300 yards. It felt like.
But Joe Burrow is doing this without a good O-line.
Oh yeah. No, without a good line. But he has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I don't think that the comparison that you just brought up between Burrow and Jackson is like disrespectful. Like I think Burrow does deserve to be put in that like category if we're like ranking quarterbacks, but I think I'll still take Lamar over Burrow.
All right. Well, let's get into the next game. We'll go to the NFC, and we will talk about Packers, Niners. Alex actually picked the Niners to win outright. I mean, really bold take. I had the Packers covering that 5.5, and I was pretty confident about that. But Alex came out on the right side of the spectrum. Alex, what are your thoughts post game?
Historic choke on the special teams, on Aaron Rodgers, on the team in general. What a joke. Like you can talk to me about how Aaron Rodgers is the most talented guy in the NFL, but what does he have to show it for it? He's got one Super Bowl. He loses every year in the playoffs. He's a known loser in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
My man, I was watching the game. So, they had the chance where it was like, I think it was 10-0. And Rodgers had like a chance to put the game to bed. And he goes back-to-back 3-and-outs, and the Niners go back, they block the punt, score, and then get a field goal. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, this will be like a typical Rodgers game. He'll go down and score now. He has Allen Lazard like in the flat, wide open, and instead he chucks it to Devontae Adams in a double team, and he doesn't catch the ball, and they punt again, and then they lose the game.
There is something about what Tom Brady keeps doing every year where he keeps winning, and he keeps winning the playoffs. I mean, there's something to that, and Aaron Rodgers just cannot do that. So
known winner, and Aaron Rodgers is a known loser. There's not much I can say about him. I can't keep defending him anymore.
This game was also a terrible game. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's not true at all.
It was interesting, but like
this game was more fun than the Titans and the Bengals game.
Yeah, no, it was for sure. It was definitely a better game than that. I mean, after that first
you guys are saying the Titans-Bengals game wasn't good. Like, just because there wasn't high scoring, I think both those games.
Game was boring.
Okay, but there was like 9 field goals in that game.
That doesn't make it a not good game.
Can't lie. I think this Packers-Niners game was more entertaining than the Rams-Bucks game because that game was
stop.
No way, bro.
Hold on.
No way.
Quarters, the game was like no one was even watching the game until Tom Brady scored the second touchdown.
Stop it, bro. Stop.
It's true.
I wasn't really watching the Packers-Niners game.
The last 5 minutes of the Rams-Bucks game was insane, but up to that point, nothing was happening. It was 27-3.
Stop.
Yeah, then Tom Brady came all the way back.
Exactly. That's what makes it entertaining. That's why the game was great. It was not just better than the Packers.
Alex, you just said the best game of all time.
Yeah, what?
Falcons Patriots game. Where's the 20?
They didn't come back though. They didn't come back. And the Pats Falcons game started like with 5 minutes to go in the third. They started coming back. This game didn't even start till like 8 minutes to go in the fourth, and that's why it was great.
Not true. That's not true. That's not true. It started in the third. It
was so boring. I turned off the TV.
Yeah, it was the third. It was like 3 minutes left.
Started in the third.
It was so boring.
No,
I don't
Alex,
care.
you're switching up your logic just because you have that Patriots bias in you, bro.
No, I do have the Patriots bias. I also have Tom Brady bias. That game was boring as hell
Okay,
through 3 quarters.
it was 27-3 with 7 minutes left in the third. The
Mhm.
Bucks started their run with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, which is
When they
just
made the
around the
field
time
goal.
that
So when
started.
they scored,
They scored with 3. They kicked a field goal with 3 minutes and then
Yeah.
scored a touchdown right before the fourth started.
Yeah.
27-13.
Yeah.
No, come on, Alex. You can't really compare those two games, but the Packers-Niners game still had a good ending. I mean, like after that first touchdown by the Packers, I watched that drive. That was just such a dominant drive, and after I saw that drive, I was like, this game is over. I honestly saw the Packers running away with it. I mean, but the Niners stayed in it, played great defense. Aaron Rodgers had a 19.3 QBR in that game. That's just absolutely terrible. He didn't throw a touchdown, which is pretty crazy also. Um, but special teams won that game for the Niners. They did not do anything special on offense. They didn't even get us. They didn't even get an offensive touchdown. They got a special teams touchdown. I mean, Jimmy G did not play good in that game. He had a terrible game. He's been a fraudulent quarterback this playoff so far. I mean, he's a leader. He does what he needs to on the field, but they keep squeaking out these wins, but he has just not been playing good.
Jimmy G is one of 2 quarterbacks to win the first 2 games of the postseason without having a touchdown in the first 2 games. He doesn't have a passing or rushing touchdown these first 2 games. But I want to go back to the Rodgers thing. And I've been defending Rodgers for a while because especially last year after he lost to Brady, he definitely outplayed Brady in that game. Right? So there's still that narrative that Brady gets more help from his defense. We've all seen the numbers that Brady always has a top 10 defense, whatever. This was the first game where I've watched Aaron Rodgers. I obviously wasn't watching. I don't think I was watching the Packers playoff games back in 2011 and stuff like that. Or at least I don't remember them enough. This was the first game I watched the Packers play in the playoffs where it's on Rodgers, because that was just his defense playing amazing. His defense literally didn't give up points basically.
Uh-huh.
It was the punt. It was a special teams, and
No,
then
they didn't. They didn't.
they didn't. I mean, the
Until
field goal,
goal.
but still they had decent field position on at least one of those. So that game is on Rodgers completely. I don't know what to say. I was surprised. With Joey, I thought the game was going to be a blowout after seeing that first drive touchdown. But just every drive, I was waiting for Rodgers to do something again, and he just never did.
Yeah. I mean, just he came out and did not show up. I mean, I feel like if he had won that game, he would have came out, played better in the NFC Championship game. I had them as my Super Bowl winners this year. This was their best chance to win. This is the best chance they'll ever have to win. And they can't win against the Niners now in Lambeau.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how can they ever beat the Niners in the playoffs? I mean, Aaron Rodgers is 0-4 against the Niners. He should have some motivation because remember in the draft, Niners picked Alex Smith over him, and he said they were going to regret it. But obviously, I mean, they have, but they also haven't because they beat him.
Yeah.
But
they definitely do regret it. But
yeah, yeah. But I mean, also there was a post-game press conference quote from Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago after they lost the NFC Championship game to the Niners. He said, "This is a totally different story if it's snowing in Lambeau and it's 20 degrees." And that was the exact conditions of this game, and they lost. I mean, but also the fact that they literally had the game. They had the win without Aaron Rodgers playing great at all. It's just Packers special teams didn't play good either. Niners special teams did. Packers special teams didn't. I mean, you can't let up a blocked punt at the 10-yard line, and then they get just a touchdown from that. In what was that? That was the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then also that blocked field goal. But I mean, I'd say the blocked punt was definitely a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm. The field goal still was huge. The blocked field goal.
Yeah, for sure.
Last game in Green Bay.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Is Aaron Rodgers out? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think he's out?
I think unless the Packers like somehow can bring back, Devontae and re-sign all these guys, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go. I mean, he obviously is not going to stay for a rebuild. He already made that clear. But I think it's going to be really tough to bring him back. Like I think Rodgers is just going to go to the team that has the best chance of winning with him on it. And unless the Packers can bring back all their guys, I don't think that's going to be the Packers. So
then second question, lead-up question: who is the team that needs Rodgers the most, or where's Rodgers most likely to go?
Hey, Rodgers to the Steelers? I don't know.
Rodgers to the Steelers would be
I don't know, man.
interesting.
He could
wait,
go to a storied franchise.
I saw a team actually. I need to pull up. What team was it? What team was I thinking about?
Also, another thing to take into consideration is that the Packers just lost their offensive coordinator. I don't know if Rodgers had a good relationship with him. I mean, he probably did, but I mean, he's now the head coach of the Broncos. He's defensive coordinator, right?
I was gonna say Rodgers to the Broncos.
Is he defensive or offensive?
I have no idea.
I think he's offensive. Yeah. That's actually a good point. The Broncos might have made that move thinking they could get Rodgers.
So that's why I think like this offseason, considering how close they were, I don't see it like unlikely that they maybe get Rodgers.
Hey, but to get a little off topic about that hiring, I think that Vic Fangio was better than Nathaniel Hackett in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know.
Brian Flores
was.
I mean, he's just such a good defensive-minded coach. No matter what you say, Vic Fangio was a really good defensive-minded coach, and they had a really good defense. All they needed is a quarterback.
I guess so. I mean, I would like to see him with a good quarterback. We don't know what the offense would look like, but so I remember the team I was going to say Rodgers would be best fit on, which I realize now it's not going to happen because Sean Payton left. But I would have really liked to see Rodgers on the Saints. I feel like that would have been the best fit or the best landing spot for Rodgers, but now obviously that's probably off the table.
Hey, did you guys hear that? Like, I don't know where I saw it, but I saw that someone said that if Brady retires, the Buccaneers should get Aaron Rodgers.
No.
So that he can prove to everyone that he could take that exact team to the Super Bowl.
You know what's wild? He can't. He can't. He won't.
It's interesting.
I mean, he would want to do that though.
If you put Rodgers, I think if you put Rodgers on the Bucs team last season, he easily wins the Super Bowl.
I disagree. I don't think
Tom Brady had.
Rodgers is not good at football in the playoffs. He can't win.
I don't care. Tom Brady didn't have a good postseason last year. Tom Brady played pretty bad in the postseason last year.
That is a good point. Still, I still think Rodgers is a historic choker. And if you put him on the Bucs now, he's not winning a Super Bowl because the Green Bay team is just about the same.
I keep bringing up, though, like that NFC Championship game last year, Rodgers outplayed Brady. So, like, sometimes that narrative is just so false.
True.
Rodgers completely outplayed Tom last year.
Narrative is false. Rodgers is a bum. Stinky Rodgers is what I should start calling him.
Hey, he's still going to be the MVP for 2 years in a row. So
it doesn't matter, though. Like, he can win all the MVPs he wants. He's not winning another Super Bowl. He was so bad. Like, it's so disappointing as a person who likes to watch Rodgers play football because he is so talented and he plays like football in such a dynamic way. It's so. But yeah.
Hey, you cut out there for a second, but all good.
I think you know what I was.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the last game in the NFC that we were going to recap from last week. A pretty long recap, but there is a lot to talk about because that was a great football weekend. And that's going to be the Bucs and the Rams. Obviously, we were talking about a little bit earlier. We were talking about 27-3. I mean, Brady did what he has before. He came back. They tied it up, which is absolutely insane. It seemed like a scripted ending. I'm not gonna and not the ending, but up till the ending. It seemed totally scripted for Tom Brady. How does that happen?
I don't. The Rams just could not hold on to the
Like,
football.
yeah, Akers with those like 2 fumbles. I mean, that you just don't see that. At the end of the game, they fumbled again, and then Brady went down and scored. But like the Rams, they also played a really good game, and they've been playing really good football ever since they lost that game to the Niners. Just they've been playing good playoff football. They've been finding a way to win, and now they're like going into a rematch with the Niners, which should be really interesting. But I'm here to say, after that game and after these past few weeks, Matthew Stafford for me is now, I view him as an elite quarterback in the NFL.
What? So what if we're like putting quarterbacks into tiers? Like, give me some quarterbacks that you'd put on Stafford's level.
I would put
Don't do it.
Lamar Jackson,
Oh my god.
Okay.
Joe Burrow,
Okay.
Justin Herbert. I'd say those kind of guys. Maybe and Kyler Murray, and then the tier above them is Mahomes, Rodgers,
Wait. Hold up. Are we putting Kyler Murray and Lamar on the same tier?
Josh Allen. What?
So we're all of them on the same
tier.
tier?
I want to talk about. No, Alex. I think it's like at this point, it's popular opinion that Kyler Murray is better than Lamar Jackson, which to me
Did we not watch last 6 games of the season?
No, yeah, Kyler did not play good.
Oh, no, Joey.
I have seen so many people rank Kyler ahead of Lamar.
Can you just do so? Who was it? All the same tier? I have to hear it again. Sorry.
What?
Can you just say?
Yeah, those were the same tier. That I was just starting to name the tier above.
Lamar, Stafford, Herbert.
I mean, it's just a general tier though. Like,
yeah. No,
so like Stafford, Lamar, Kyler, Herbert, Burrow.
All right, so who's the second best? Who's the second best conference championship quarterback in your guys' opinion?
Oh, that's a good question. Who, Burrow or Stafford?
Mm-hmm.
Are we basing it off of like the players or how they've played in the playoffs so far?
I'm probably gonna have to go with Stafford. He's just playing really good.
Who would I rather have right now? Stafford.
Like not for the future,
No,
just like right now. Like
right now, I'm going with
Stafford. He has 0 interceptions. He's playing good football.
The thing is, I'm gonna talk about this in a little bit, but he's due for his choke game. He's due. Yeah. He always has one.
What do you mean?
Tom Brady just retired. Tom Brady just retired.
He's gonna throw a pick against the Niners. Tom Brady is inevitable.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. ESPN notification. Tom Brady is retiring from football after 22 seasons and 7 Super Bowl titles. Adam Schefter, Jeff Darlington.
Are you serious?
I'm dead joking.
Oh my god. Oh, we got a live reaction here on
Brady retired right there.
27 on the Mayo Show.
Holy.
Wow.
What a career.
I did not expect.
What do you guys think about that? Let's just interrupt this and talk about that.
I didn't expect that at all. I knew we had the thoughts about it and the rumors about it. I did not. I thought he was going to go out for one more because I thought he was going to have that last season like tour season. You know how like Kobe did it.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I said to a bunch of people, I was like, there's no way he does not come back for a last dance kind of thing. Imagine how much money the NFL and him could make. I mean, it's not like that he cares about money or anything.
That's crazy.
But like
last weekend was the last time we'll ever see the GOAT play. I wasn't watching that game thinking that. I should have been taking that in.
His first and last win was against the Eagles, Shane.
That's crazy. We did not appreciate Tom enough, I think.
Hey, that's an honor. That's an honor right there.
I mean, he's
I'll
the GOAT.
take it.
He's
that
great.
is insane.
He's actually the GOAT. Like 20 seasons plus of just
the NFC playoff picture is gonna get crazy next season.
Oh wait, so now
who
are the Rodgers to the Bucks? Is it gonna happen now? Nah, that's wild.
Rodgers to the Bucks. Hey, we were just talking about that. I don't know.
I think it was time for Tom to retire, though.
Oh wow, that's actually insane to think about. No. I mean, Tom Brady's just been the face of the game for so long.
You know, I saw like glimpses this season of where he's like throwing balls a bit low, a bit high. He's like not as accurate as he usually is.
I get that.
amazing quarterback.
But we just watched a quarterback. We're seeing a quarterback retire after leading the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns, completions.
Which is wild. Which is so wild. But he's old. And he's old. He's 45 years old.
I would have thought that he would come back and try to win another Super Bowl, man.
He's
But
45.
Well, he's not retiring. He's not retiring. He's not retiring because he's too old. He's retiring because he wants to get to his family. He made that clear.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's my point. Like he's old in the fact that like now it's like time for him to like settle down with his family. And I bet Gazelle or whatever, I bet she's been on his tail for like just settling down soon.
Yeah,
it's been a constant thing. Like when he was in New England too, like she was asking him to retire for a while, and I think it was just time now.
That's crazy, bro. It's the end of an era, man. I mean,
All right, so
Rodgers might be done soon too.
You know what else this guarantees? Rob Gronkowski's done.
That is true.
So
I actually thought,
but this could test his loyalty to what he said though. Remember, he said that he would never play for another quarterback other than Tom Brady. I mean,
but he already said before Brady retired, before we got this news.
That's what I was gonna say.
He said he probably isn't coming back. So.
I thought he was gonna retire first. I thought Gronk was gonna go and then Brady.
Yeah. I mean, he was already retired, and he came out to play with Brady. So
man, that's wild. So in the last 5 years, we've had Brady retiring, Roethlisberger retiring this year,
Drew Brees
retiring.
I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy. It's the end of this
Peyton Manning
era.
That wild.
It's the end of the 2000 quarterback era. I mean, both Mannings are retired now. It's crazy. Think about it.
Roethlisberger, Rodgers might retire soon.
All Hall of Fame quarterbacks, great careers.
Great career.
All right, so retiring.
Before we get into these AFC and NFC Championship, game outlooks, what is going to be the NFC playoff picture next year, assuming Rodgers leaves?
Are we assuming Rodgers goes to the Bucks, or are we just assuming?
Let's assume he goes to an AFC team for this.
That's going to open up a lot, to be honest.
Okay.
What? So are the Rams or the Cowboys?
Cowboys.
Are they gonna be the 1 seed? Are they gonna be the
dude? Next year is gonna be the Cowboys' year to do something because Rodgers could be in the AFC.
That's what they always say.
But I'm just saying, like, if the Cowboys are ever gonna do something, which I really hope they don't, because I don't like the Cowboys. But I think next year has got to be the year they got to do something.
Yeah, but wait, hold up. This opens up so much. What is the playoffs? Because now basically we eliminate the Bucks from the playoffs, right? You would say that?
It's anyone's game.
You eliminate the Green Bay from the playoffs, basically. I don't think Jordan Love is good enough to take them to the playoffs first year. Or if they
don't rule out Aaron Rodgers yet.
The 7 seed. So we got Rams, Cowboys.
This may sound a little biased.
Eagles.
I think the Eagles are in the mix.
Rams.
The Eagles are
Cowboys, Cardinals, Niners, Eagles. Then it's like Minnesota, maybe New Orleans.
The Eagles are in the mix to make an NFC Championship run next season. They have 3 first-round picks they could trade, or they could just use it as draft capital. They went 9-8 this year with a developing team. I don't know. I think the Eagles are in the mix.
It's kind of crazy to think about though. Like Tom Brady has gotten so much hate, and everyone hates Tom Brady. If you're not like a fan of the Bucs or the Patriots or of just Tom Brady, but like you're gonna see like everyone on Twitter is gonna be like even the haters are gonna be like, wow, he had a great career, like, and they're probably gonna be like all over him. Like
that's just how it works.
Goat.
Just how it works. But I don't. Let's be honest here. Can anyone argue another GOAT? Genuinely?
No. People literally do, but I think it's retarded.
I think you could argue, like if you put into like a fantasy draft like situation, and I'm drafting a quarterback to be on my team, I think you could argue guys like Peyton Manning or like I mean, this might sound a little outrageous, but even like Patrick Mahomes, just because they are talented. But Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure. But back to the Bucs Rams game we were ironically talking about when we found out that news. But just about that last sequence at the end, I mean, just terrible defense by the Bucs at the end. I mean, you cannot let that up to Cooper Kupp. You know he's gonna be doing something like that. Even if he was supposed to be a decoy on that play that he went long. But I mean, Stafford found him. Just absolutely terrible coverage. I mean, you can't send an all-out blitz on in that kind of a situation when you have Cooper Kupp and you have the kind of weapons you do, and you can't allow a field goal, and they let them get to the 10-yard line on that big play. But Cooper Kupp, he's that guy, bro. He is insane.
He's so good.
I mean, but the thing is, like, I saw this really dumb thing on I think it was Instagram. People were legitimately debating, like, the question was, who would you rather have as an wide receiver 1 on your team, Deebo Samuel or Cooper Kupp? I just think that's ridiculous. I think Cooper Kupp.
I don't think it's ridiculous.
I don't. If you have a good running game, why do you need Deebo Samuel to
Doesn't matter. He's the most
He's
best
so
utility
versatile,
player.
but Cooper Kupp is that it. You just want the triple crown.
The Niners have a run game. That's the thing. But Deebo Samuel is the best player on that team. No matter if you get the ball in his hands, he's the most explosive player in the league.
That's true. But Cooper Kupp, he just makes plays.
Yeah, I think Cooper Kupp is slightly better, but I wouldn't. That's not that crazy, to be honest.
It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. I mean, I'm not like saying it's a bad pick if you pick Deebo, but like everyone in the comments section was saying Deebo, and I think that's ridiculous.
Oh, look. Okay, this is just how absurd this is. 2021 season in 3 sentences. This is Cooper Kupp's. Deontay Johnson finished top 10 in yards and is closer to Traquan Smith, who is 121st, than Kupp. Chris Godwin finished top 10 in receptions and is closer to Tim Patrick, 65th, than Kupp. Tyreek Hill finished top 10 in touchdowns and is closer to Danny Amendola, 83rd, than Kupp.
No, Kupp's just that guy, bro. Kupp's different.
Second all-time in yards, second all-time in receptions.
Obviously, the production's high for Kupp, but I think the value is close.
Deebo?
I think the value of Deebo is close. I would take Kupp. I would take Kupp right now.
Kupp is the top 2 receiver in the NFL. I don't care what anyone says.
I think you can make an argument that Deebo's in that mix too, but
yeah, I say he's top 5, to be honest.
See, I said that the other day, but then I kind of afterwards, I kind of looked back and was I don't know.
Receivers?
Because I feel like that is a little bit recent.
I think top 7. Top 7's a little more of a safe blanket for that. But
yeah, I'd say it is. Because there's still guys like Justin Jefferson there.
Here's my argument with Deebo, though. He's not a top 5 receiver, but he is the best utility player. He does things that receivers don't do, which is what makes him top 5. But he's not top 5 because he's not better than the elites. Yeah, that was just blown coverage. I
mean, we were talking about last week when we were talking about this game about the matchup nightmares for the Rams against the Patriots. I mean, the Bucs, not the Patriots, but I mean, and that's just how it played out. There was just mismatches on the line everywhere. I mean, they were getting pressure on Tom Brady the entire game, and we've seen in previous years that when you get pressure on Tom Brady like that, and he gets sacked a good amount of times, things seem to go down the drain, and they seem to lose those games. And the Rams, they just kept bringing the pressure, and that was great defense by them. Obviously, some mishaps at the end, but they came out with the win. Nice gritty away win, and Rams are moving on.
Mm-hmm. Should we get into?
Yeah, let's get into our picks and predictions for these AFC and NFC championship games. We can start. What's up?
I think for this week, since there's only 2 games, we all, instead of giving just a game pick, we all give a final score prediction for both games.
I agree. I completely agree.
All right, I'm down.
All right, so let's start with the NFC game.
No, let's start AFC.
Nah, Niners Rams.
Okay, fine. Niners Rams.
All right, go ahead, Joey.
What?
Go ahead, Joey.
All right, I am picking the Niners plus 3.5 in this game. I think either if they lose or win, I think it's going to be a field goal game. It's going to be a good game. I mean, they're division foes. They've met each other in the past multiple times. The Niners have won the last 6 matchups with the Rams. I mean, also another point to make is that the Niners defensive coaches have just been really good as of late, if you think about it. Because Robert Saleh, he was the defensive coach last year, obviously did a great job. He got a head coaching job with the Jets. And then this year, their defensive coordinator is now getting interviewed for head coaching jobs, which is pretty insane. This is his first year with the Niners as their defensive coordinator, and he's getting interviewed for head coaching jobs now. So the Niners are really good at getting these defensive coaches. But I'm gonna roll with the Niners in this one.
Man, the Niners keep making you pay for picking against them, but I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna pick the Rams just because I think the Rams finally get the better of the Niners after losing 6 straight to them, which is the reason why this is really a tough pick, right? If these were just 2 teams that didn't have this like history behind them, I think the Rams would be the pick just because they're playing better football, it seems, and they are the higher seed. They have the better quarterback, but we just know that the Niners are the Rams' kryptonite. So, but with that being said, I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think it's a 3 or 4 point game. I'm gonna go like 23-20. Rams win.
Nice.
Hey, but then that's in the 3.5 range though.
I know. That's
So
why.
are you rolling? Are you rolling with Rams money line and?
Well, I actually, yeah, Rams money line would be safer. But I made a bet with a friend, with Rams -3. So if it is a 3 point game, no one gets paid. We push, but because I think I can see it. I just see it in my head being a 3 point game. So
yeah.
I'm going with my team again. Roll Niners.
Hey, Alex's Super Bowl prediction is still intact as of right now.
It is. It is. It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a lot of like tough football, 2 gritty defensive teams. I do think low key that the Rams are obviously a better team, but I just can't pick against the Niners right now, especially considering they're my Super Bowl prediction. So I'm gonna go with 24-20 Niners. And yeah. I was listening to a podcast the other day actually, and even though it was before my time, they were talking about how it had like the 2007 Giants like parallels, like they're very similar teams. And I like looked across it, and like they're like the exact same teams basically, with similar skill position players that like carry them to the Super Bowl and similar quarterbacks. And so if history repeats itself, that could be another Super Bowl right there. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I forgot to give my score prediction, so I'll give that right now. I'm gonna go with 20-17. Kind of generic, but I honestly think that's how it's gonna end.
We all have pretty similar scoring ranges.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't see it being too high scoring, too low scoring. So, all right, but getting into the AFC Championship game, obviously another rematch from a Week 17 game where the Bengals came out at home and came back after a bad first half, down 14 points, and won the game. Jamar Chase obviously had a historical night. Everything seemed to go well, as me and Alex were talking about before the pod. Seemed like everything needed to go right for the Bengals to win that game against the Chiefs. Jamar Chase had 266 yards and were like 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But he went off. And someone want to start off with their picks?
I'll start off. I think we're all going to pick the Chiefs, obviously. But I think, what's the line at? 7.5?
Yeah, I have the Bengals.
7.5?
I have the Chiefs for AFC Championship game, man.
I have the Chiefs covering because I think the final score is going to be 35-27.
Ooh,
but I don't think it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a good game because I think it's going to be like 35-20 or something, and I think the Bengals are just going to get like a last minute touchdown, like all that, and then they're going to have an onside kick, and the Chiefs are going to recover. But I think the Chiefs take care of business. There's no way after that Bills game the Chiefs will lose. I mean, that would just be crazy if they lost to the Bengals after winning that absolutely insane game against the Bills. So there's no way that the Chiefs lose. If I want to put something on the line, I don't know. Whatever. The Chiefs are not losing this game. That's all I'm going to say.
I think that Joey B is going to come in and handle business.
Oh my God.
Cover the spread. 7.5. I mean, he's just that guy. He's gonna block out the noise. I mean, this man literally said Arrowhead doesn't compare to a SEC game, which is a pretty bold statement to make going into AFC Championship game. But I mean, you can't not like Joe Burrow. I mean, I honestly think 7.5 for an AFC Championship game is pretty insane. Like that's a really high number, and I think just like how these playoffs are going, I think it's got to be a closer game than that. So I'm gonna roll with the Bengals plus 7.5. But I think the Chiefs are gonna win this game. They have just been hitting on all cylinders on offense. I mean, I think this is going to be a really high scoring game. I think the total of this game is going to be around 51 points. So I think I have the final score being what was it again? It was like I'll calculate that in a second. I had it before. I just know that I had the total being 51. But
Nice.
but Patrick Mahomes, obviously playing at his best as of right now. The Bengals are going to have to put up a big fight to be in this game. But I think the fact that it's at Arrowhead, I mean, it was at Bengals last time. The fact that it's an Arrowhead in playoff time, I think the Chiefs, I think it's inevitable for them to win this game.
Nice.
And win the Super Bowl.
Were you
Nice.
gonna say 27-24 for that 51?
28, 23.
Yeah, 28-23, that's what it was. 28-23.
Like that, pretty
Wait,
close
so
game.
what?
Actually.
Wait, 26. So okay, never mind.
That covers the spread.
Yeah, I think that the Week 17 game told us nothing. Not impressed by the Bengals. I think Mahomes is the best quarterback in the game right now. I think the Chiefs are the best team in the game right now. Pretty big blowout. Pretty self-explanatory. 38-23, Chiefs.
Whoa.
Wow.
I mean, I also have it being a 15-point game.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Yeah, I really don't think it'll be that close. But who knows?
I want it to be close, but
I want it to be close too. I want it to be a good game.
honestly,
I hope Joe Burrow proves us
even
wrong.
though I'm picking the Chiefs, I'm gonna be rooting for the Bengals in this game. I mean, I just love Joe Burrow, man.
I swear you're literally a Steelers fan.
I am. No, it's so hard to cheer for this Bengals team because they're division
You just said you are gonna gladly cheer for the Bengals team.
No, I am because of Joe Burrow. But if they add Andy Dalton, I would be rooting for the Chiefs right now. But here's the thing. I mean, they have just a really good young roster. They're such a fun team to watch. But the fact that they play the Steelers 2 times a year is pretty annoying because then I have to dislike them, which is fine. I'm just not gonna dislike Joe Burrow. But obviously, I like the Steelers a lot more than the Bengals. But the Steelers are obviously out, so and I just want to see it upset. I mean, they're a dope team. Not gonna lie, but I have the AFC winning the Super Bowl. I mean, if the Bengals win this game, I think they're winning the Super Bowl. Honestly, they're riding the momentum. Joe Burrow's an LA man. He might go in there somehow win a Super Bowl in his sophomore season. But yeah, I have the AFC because if the Chiefs win this game, I think they're winning the Super Bowl. I don't care if they're playing the Rams or the Niners. I think the Chiefs will ultimately win the Super Bowl. They're just the hottest team. They're playing the best, and they have the most experience out of any of these players and teams in the playoffs as of right now, for the most part. They've been in this AFC Championship game 4 years in a row, and the Bengals hadn't won a playoff game in 30 years. So obviously a big advantage for the Chiefs in this spot. But do we all give our picks?
We doing that now?
Did we all give our picks for this game?
we did.
We did.
And score predictions? Oh, we did.
Mhm.
Also, another thing I want to add is that the fact that the Chiefs, I have a bold prediction for this game. Tyler Boyd is going to have a great game in this game. And here's why. The Chiefs are known because of last week, they obviously shut down Stephon Diggs. They like to shut down that main guy. And obviously, Jamar Chase came out last time, had 266 yards. They're not going to let that happen again. I mean, they're going to put 2 guys on him. They're going to shut him down. That's going to open up for someone else like a Gabriel Davis of the Bengals. And I think that guy has got to be Tyler Boyd over T. Higgins because I think he's due for that type of a game.
No,
All
don't
right,
say
so you don't think after the Bills, you don't think after Gabe Davis just had 200 yards and 4 touchdowns that the Chiefs are maybe gonna step away from that game plan and re-strategize by
Jamar had 266 yards.
I know, but they're not gonna do the same thing they did last week after they just gave up 4 touchdowns and 200 yards to the
Yeah, they're gonna probably switch it up a little bit, but they're still gonna
I mean,
have 2 guys on Jamar Chase. I mean, they beat them last time because of Jamar Chase. He had 3 touchdowns. They were looking for him every time, and he was somehow open. He burned them. That's how they got back into the game.
I'm gonna be
why
honest.
not
I
T.
think
Higgins?
they should double team Jamar, double team Tyler Boyd, double team Osmoa, and just give T. Higgins the ball every play. I think that should be the game plan. Can't lie. I think it's reasonable. You know, T. Higgins is the most talented guy on the field, as we all know. You know, really think Mixon and T. Higgins should do the workload this week. Solid game plan.
All right. Also, another stat about the Joe Burrow sack thing is that Joe Burrow has been sacked 62 times. That is the most by any single quarterback, and that's the most on any single quarterback of a team that made it to the AFC Championship game ever. And any quarterback over 50, there's a couple that have made it to the AFC, to the conference championship game. They have all lost. So Joe Burrow could change that.
No, he can't.
All right.
Yeah, we all still have the Chiefs winning. I think that just what's up?
I got Niners win the Super Bowl.
Niners win the Super Bowl. You heard it here first on the Mayo Show. I think that just about wraps it up for this episode 27. See you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, exactly 12.
That was long.
Right. See ya, Shane. Let's go play for it right now. Get on.
Bye, Joey.
See you, Joe.
Yeah.